Brandon, thanks. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order, the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority, Monday, May 19th, 2025. We'll begin with roll call.
Brian Thompson.
Present.
Scott Davis. Brandon Sunbury.
Here.
Brian Williams.
Here.
Matt Lorenzo.
Here.
Colin Smith.
Here.
Morgan Bob. Here.
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, we have one set of minutes from last, like I said, March minutes? April minutes.
April.
Yeah. Strike that. Okay, April minutes from last, April 21st, that's printed. Is there any action on that? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ms. Paul Schaefer of the FNS report.
Yes, well, got a few action items on the hangar project. The first one is a cost savings change order, with All-Star paving. This is on the actual tax link process. So that's a reduction of $40,180, based on some of the value engineering and cost savings that, we got through the contract.
And that was part of the work that we've done, trying to get this within budget. We did working on what they call value engineering for the site prep and value engineering for the structure itself. So the next one will be that. So we need a motion to approve that change order number 1 for site prep.
Motion to approve change order 1, as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next change order.
Yep, the next change order is also a cost reduction change order from value engineering in the amount of $226,000 for Dunlop construction on the actual hangar building itself.
Is it also change order 1 because it doesn't have to instead of cost?
Correct, they're two different construction contracts.
Well, motion to approve change order 1, with our Dunlop project.
And is there a second?
Second.
$226,000 shaved off of the cost of it, and again, as Colin said, the specifics more to that is in your packet if you wanna look over those changes, but, they were changes that we determined to be not having adverse effect on the actual use of the building for the airport, but yet would lower the cost within at least where we could afford to, call it within our budget, so. I will call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the next item is to approve the contractor's progress estimate number 1 in the amount of $62,981.45 to Dunlop Construction. And, what this is for is some of the production staking, the maintenance of traffic, all the safety barricades and signage and those sorts of things, and then their mobilization, a portion of that, and the pre-engineered metal building. They're requesting 15% payment, which is in line with the specifications to get the building ordered. And then, only 3% of the overall, site work on some of their permitting costs, so. That totals the $66,296.26, but less $3,314.81 in retainage that will hold till the end of the project. So that makes the payment due today $62,981.45.
And the idea with this too is getting that sent out so that we can get that building locked in, so the price doesn't change before we get something done. So this is gonna take care of making sure we're protected on that price on the building, so. I will accept the motion to approve the, contractor's estimate number 1 of $62,981.45.
Motion to approve contractor's progress estimate 1, as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, very good. The next two items are both related to the runway rehabilitation, project. So as part of the grant, last meeting, I believe we submitted a draft on the inspection agreement. We also asked your permission to send it off to an independent fee estimate. That has been completed, it came back, fine on the fees. They've invoiced you $3,500, for doing that independent fee estimate. So the first motion is to, pay Foth Engineering, $3,500 for the IFE that they performed for you.
Okay, we'll accept the motion to approve payment of $3,500 for the FOTH.
I motion to pay both engineering invoice of $3,500.
Second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
And then the last item is the motion on the construction services agreement. So this is the actual construction services of when you get the grant to do the runway rehab. This is for the, resident inspector to come out. It also covers construction observation, the warranty inspection, record drawing, ALP update, all those FAA required items. So there's been no changes in that draft since last meeting. Happy to answer any questions on it. And of course, these construction agreements are subject to receipt of the grant. If you don't get the grant, we don't do any of these services, the agreement would just go away, so.
And that too is in your packet from this year's plan, specific on the committee. Looked at, so call for a motion, on that,
I motion to approve construction services agreement with BF&S, as presented.
and is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Paul.
And that's all I have for you, unless there's any general questions on anything that's going on. I will say, the March 14th continuing resolution, from Congress, they actually ended up then fully funding the $4 billion in funding, and threw in an additional $50 million in discretionary. So that's a very positive thing. You may have seen through AOPA and other publications, some of the grants are starting to come out. So some of the IIJA grants are, coming out. That was a big concern because, when, through the changeover in administration and so forth, that the bill, the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, was a big question on whether that would continue. So it does look like that's gonna continue, and grants are starting to be issued, so that's a very, very good reassuring, piece, for this, so without that, that makes the hangar project very challenging, so it's good that that's moving forward.
Paul, do we have on the list a pre-bid meeting for 1432?
Yep, the pre-bid meeting is the 22nd
22nd
at
at 1
1 p.m.
here, at 1
here.
o'clock,
Mhm.
Thursday.
And then just a refresher on the bid opening is June 12th at 1 p.m. and we're doing virtual now. So anybody's welcome to log on and observe the virtual, it's a public virtual meeting. It's in the advertisement for bids, but if anybody needs that link, I can get that out to you. And the reason we're doing virtual now is because the State Board of Accounts really likes the whole recorded record of the bid opening. It makes it very easy to see exactly what occurred, what documents were turned in, and so forth, so it's.
And we'll be, of course, that's in June, so for everybody here, we will review that,
Yes.
and that's coming up in the
Yeah.
next meeting.
When we open the bids, it's just a public opening, there's no action, taken on them. Although the FAA application, I believe, is due the 16th, so we'll have to do a quick turn on that. But you've already approved us to submit the application on the grant and so forth, so as soon as we get that, we'll package it, the bids, we'll package it all up, and then we'll report at the next board meeting how everything turned out, of course.
Sounds good. We'll
Thanks
see
for
how
your
that,
time.
how that pans out for our estimates. I like though the fact that we're at, 95% FAA funding on this project, is that right?
Correct, yes, so that was also part of IIJA, was for fiscal year '26 and fiscal year '27. The federal, portion went from 90% to 95%. So that remaining 5% then is split between the state of Indiana and the local community.
So our actual commitment on this project just went to half.
It was half of what you would have had on a normal year. Yeah, that's good. And that's even trickling to the state. I wasn't at the Aviation Indiana meeting, but I assume they talked about a potential state and local program as a result of, multiple things, but some of it is because of the savings on the 2.5%. That frees up state money.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right,
then,
right.
couple that with some other pots of money that I won't bore you with tonight, they might have a call for some state and local projects, which are 50/50 projects.
Mhm. We'll get a, commercial sized hangar in that,
There you go,
120 by 100.
doesn't hurt to ask.
Be locked and loaded for that.
3 of them.
3 of them, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Colin says 3 of them.
Ask for 3, settle for 1, sounds like a plan.
Right?
Very good.
Always room for growth.
Did you have anything else, Colin, for Colin?
Nope, that was my question. Perfect.
Okay, aviation fuel fund report.
As of today, there's $492,491.14.
We've been buying fuel.
And the, deposit for the fuel.
Very good.
We just got a load of jet fuel today.
And now, what's the price compared on the jet fuel compared, not what the price is, but how does it compare to what it was last load? Is it up or down from last load?
It's a little bit up,
A little bit out? Okay.
but last week it was, 6 cents more.
Okay, so it came down 6 when you bought then?
Mhm.
Okay.
But I think it's up 2 cents from our last load that we purchased.
Okay,
So-
that's not bad, pretty steady.
Mhm.
Okay, May financial report.
April, I don't know what was
Oh.
going on with my months.
Okay.
Everything I've received in so far, I wrote down April for May, so I don't know what's going on, it's just going too quick. So our April income was $132,606.40. Our April expenses was $160,664.10. So we were $28,057.70 over for the month.
Well, we'll just have to cut some corners here and there.
Pickups. For a total of the year, we're over 11.
Again, that's in you guys' reports, so, very good. The mortgage on the Ranger building, you got that all taken care of, all signed and? good to go?
Yeah, it just needs to be retroactively approved.
Okay. So you wanna explain that, Matt, why don't you give the board
Do you want it?
Yeah. Yeah, they just took out a new mortgage, I think they refinanced something, one of their warehouses.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it.
so it needs a mortgage acceptance, so the board, since they refinanced, the board has to say it's okay to refinance something on our property. Correct, is that correct, Matt?
Well, yes, they mortgaged their leasehold interest in the building since we own the ground.
So that's why it needs to go through us to be accepted. So is there a motion to approve this change of the mortgage?
Motion approved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Alright. Velio, we talked about that last month, the parking lot.
They have another one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, they were gonna keep the gravel lot for now, but then on the far side of T Hangar A was a temporary semi-lot, parking lot. They were not using that and wanted to terminate that lease.
Okay,
So I have
so that was just straight north of the furthest hangar up there, the long T hangar up there. And they had been parking semis out there, but there hadn't been semis out there for a year or more.
Mhm.
So they didn't wanna continue
I can,
that lease.
Yeah.
So this is their request to,
just for review,
this is the one that they previously terminated, this one right here. And this one, which was the temporary semi-parking lot, is what they're wanting to terminate.
It just goes back to, it's just concrete, so, no big deal.
Do you need,
Yeah, I need a motion for that.
how much to approve the termination of parking lot?
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And next, the time turners, gentlemen. What did you have for them?
Yeah, so, basically, what we have for the request regarding the, lease agreement that the, airport had, corrected. So the, everybody will, have a page that was given to them, updating them on the, request that Time Turners has given to the airport. It's just updating the lease that had been created for them. So, basically incorporating, ensuring that they have access to their, garage, within the length of the lease, which has already been contacted by the, fire department. So that can go into the lease and then, request the amount of responsibility of property taxes, which we have been incorporated information from Morgan that is already taken care of.
We don't pay on that parcel.
So, and then regarding to the condition of the building, and the foundations, they need to, include within the lease, the conditions of the building, and photos can be provided. They state that the furnace in the workshop and the garage area are not functioning. The building heating system consists of 2 gas furnaces. Presently, 1 is functionable. And then the actions are being taken to find provider for property insurance due to the condition of the building. So the taxes aspect is taken care of, but they are curious based on the condition of the building if they might be able to get insurance coverage. And so basically this is a modification to the lease that we had previously created. Did I represent that correctly? Do you need
Yes,
anything
I
else?
think, yeah, per our discussion last week, yeah,
Mhm.
right on,
Okay,
right on
perfect.
topic.
Yep, I just wanna make sure that they're covered as well as the airport. So, basically, this is an informative sheet on updates that could be incorporated into the lease per the approval by the board previously.
So, do we need to be prepared for, working on heating systems sometime before next fall then?
It is an airport-owned building,
Okay.
so, per the board's decision, we can bump that into, a priority.
I mean, yeah, cause actually, you never know, gas furnaces, they could be dangerous, so
Mhm.
we can't. we
Yeah,
can't
and-
allow-
Just to add a comment, those furnaces are over 30 years old. And when we started, everybody involved, having trouble with them last year, I went online and per the identification on the furnaces, there's parts availability. I was not able to find any suppliers because of the age of them.
So there are 2 zones then in there with 2 different heaters, is that how it works? or-
In what I would call the office area,
Uh,
there's 2 identical furnaces that work simultaneously. One of them lights and works, the other one will not light. And I'm assuming, based on my limited exposure to those systems, that there's something in the control valve. Now, whether it's the thermocouple, the sense, the initial pilot light. And like I said, there's also a draft motor. It was not working. I obtained one of those from a local supplier. They happened to have one on their shelf that was dusty. It worked, but it did not allow it to ignite.
so it works. Can we have Tom take a look at that, I wonder?
Mhm.
Okay,
We can do that.
we'll put that on the list, have our maintenance look at that.
And the hanging furnace in the workshop, the garage area, hasn't worked for a number of years. We've not been too concerned with that.
Okay.
One, we don't spend a lot of time out there in cold weather, like I explained to Colin, we just there's no sense in it, cause
Yeah.
the building leaks as much heat as it puts out, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. And we were using an auxiliary, like a construction heater, if we needed to repair something, you know, somebody had a car they wanted to work on for a couple hours, a salamander basically. And, it operated, you know, fine for that area, so,
Okay.
you know, so.
Well, we'll have Tom take a look at that
Yeah.
and give us some
And,
report.
and in my opinion, if the fire department expressed their concern that they were going to exit utilization of that building, one furnace would probably be sufficient if you blocked off the back part of the building, which technically, other than the fire department storing stuff, has really never been used.
Okay,
So it's, in my opinion and other opinions of our car club, there's really no sense even trying to heat that area. I mean,
is that the furnace that doesn't work then?
yeah, well, the furnaces work together and they expel the heat into a common plenum.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Oh, okay.
distributed via ductwork to different locations.
Okay,
Now, I've not been into the roof area for a long time, so I can't remember how the ductwork is constructed, cause we were up there when we put the roof on the building back in '05. So that's the last time up there, and I can't recall how it worked, I apologize, but you know. But there's multiple ductworks, and really the only place that needs to be heated for us, once the fire department exit, is our office area where we have our monthly meetings, so, or
Okay.
bi-monthly meetings. And one furnace would be more than sufficient to heat that area, in my opinion.
okay. Well, let's check that, have Tom check it though, let's make sure it's not unsafe,
Mhm.
that second one not functioning. Make sure that it won't be causing any, do you have any detectors in there,
Heat,
carbon dioxide?
carbon dioxide, no, we don't, because, like I just said, in the wintertime, we used to winterize the building. We would expel all the water lines. And we put heat tapes and insulation on where the water lines come to the foundation. And poured RV antifreeze into the lavatories. Because we just didn't spend much time out there when it was really cold. And we just, if there's someone was to happen to use one of the lavatories, we had there's a hydrant inside, we just use a bucket and expel the waste that away, because like I said, there was no sense heating that building. But when the fire department took over, they took all the heat tape and the insulation off of the water lines. So, and then they took over utilities when Mr. Lucas was the fire chief. And we explained that to him, he said he did not have any concerns over that, so when the weather dropped below a freezing temperature and was gonna be below freezing for a while, we would leave the furnace operational to prevent damage to the water lines.
Well, let's, you guys probably, if we need to buy it here, or there should be a carbon monoxide detector.
Those are not very expensive, we
Yeah.
can put some.
I would recommend.
Yeah, it makes
into
good
the
sense, which is
furnace.
something we never,
It's not a bad thing to have.
Yeah. yeah, I understand.
So, okay, and we'll take a look at it though to make sure the furnace is safe, even if it's non-functional.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, guys? We're good for now?
Absolutely,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Now your meeting, Collin Aviation, Indiana. You wanna go over these?
Yep.
Talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so, basically, Aviation Indiana occurred, our quarterly meeting on this past Thursday, and, that was held at Indy Exec. So basically, it was a really informative meeting based on the legislation, and history of the airport and the decision-making processes. So, I have acquired some of the legislations that's going through the House and Senate currently that deals with aeronautical. So basically, House Bill 1196, House Bill 1198, House Bill 1509, and Senate Bill 1 are the main aspects for general aviation airports that we might need to look into. So those, as I noted, the digests have been abbreviated to highlight relevant portions of the law. And so, based on, general aviation airports, these might come into effect, for us, that could impact us, could not. So basically, the information portrayed in this packet are something we should look into, and just expect, so.
And at your meeting then, did you have any discussion other than the legislation, or did you talk mostly about legislation, about the bill?
It's mostly about legislation.
Okay.
Obviously, well, our, GA and FBO committee, discussed about, scenarios that we're going to be training on aspects of general aviation airports. That was about it. It was mainly about legislation and, GA airports.
And nothing too worrisome at this time?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
There were some pretty positive legislative things that did pass. They raised the bid threshold to $300,000 compared to $150 before, so now you can basically, if it's less than 50,000, or no, if it's less than 150,000, you can get, like, basically solicit written, verbal quotes. Between 150 and 300,000 now, you have to do the written quote process. That they just upped the limits. Before it was $50,000 and 150,000. Now it's 150 and 300,000.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's kind of nice because things cost more today.
Simplifies.
That is, that is House Bill 1198.
And then the party, we got rid of the party affiliations for.
You'll see that, for less than 38,000.
So that'll make it a little easier, and some of the smaller communities, they were having problems finding people to serve on boards and keep quorums and so forth like that, and so, they got rid of that, so that's useful.
Yep, sure, it'll help. Okay, any questions on the Aviation Indiana update? Colin, a grass strip report.
Yeah, so, basically, we are updating our grass strip. So we are currently rolling it, fertilizing it. So it's going to, look a lot nicer. And we are actually getting rid of, per airport employee discussion, we took the initiative to get rid of the sun-faded cones that are on the grass strip and actually get, ground anchored reflectors. So the grass strip is going to be utilized, it's been utilized a lot more recently. So we thought that, an actual good look and upkeep of that specific location would be beneficial to the airport. And so these reflectors are not going to be affected by sun fading. And so it's going to be white and red reflectors based on runway ends and sides. So we incorporated, basically having those lines of those reflectors. So that will look a lot nicer for those flying into the grass strip and utilizing by the RC Club, the gliders, or the powered aircraft that come into it.
Very good, questions on the grass strip? Next is apron and pop-ups and crack sealing.
So, as you guys might or might not know, we have a lot of pop-ups, and crack sealing needed on the apron. So we're currently devising a plan to utilize, city resources and airport resources, to lower the costs of those. So we're going to mill down the pop-ups, and then we're going to seal coat the pop-ups and, crack seal what we can and what's left. And so, wanted to bring it to the board's attention before, moving forward with that project, cause it's a pretty, I wouldn't say a significant project, it'd just be more time consuming, but the apron does need a lot of work, and I know that's in our CIP, which is why I wanted to bring it up. Don't want to put in money into something specifically if it's going to be, refurbished and whatnot.
And that's not
Basically.
in the CIP till 2028,
That is correct.
and that more than likely will get rolled to, so it won't be taken back out and redone next year, or the next year, when it's probably not for close to 5 years.
I felt like it would be more beneficial to bring it up to your attention, first, because it is in the CIP, although,
Well, you
those
like,
are the types of upkeeping that we must maintain.
well, using the city's resources and stuff and doing it yourself is gonna save us a lot, so
Mhm.
it'll help keep that cost down to make it reasonable.
Cause we bought enough product for crack sealing last year at a cheaper price that we have enough for this year. And so that was a futuristic, rendezvous that we incorporated from last year, cause we knew we would be crack sealing a lot. So we're going to utilize the city resources and all of our product that we got at a cheaper price. But it's in our CIP, so we wanted to incorporate bringing it up to the board first before following through.
Good.
Good.
Larry, did you have
I
something?
just wanted to ask Colin, when do you anticipate doing that work?
Within the next month and a half,
Okay, thanks.
trying to complete it within the next month and a half, because crack sealing season has became upon us. So,
Goes hand in hand with tornado season.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
But yeah, so we're going to, and obviously air traffic won't be, it won't be bothered. There won't be any closures unless notified by NOTAM, and, it won't be at significant time periods at a time.
You're not gonna
We'll
do
just close off
huge
little-
areas all at once.
Yes, we'll close off little sections to make sure that the availability of the airport property is accessed.
Okay, since we have Colin talking, any word on lights in the hangars?
It got pushed back a little bit.
I noticed.
So we haven't initialized our airport lighting project yet, because of all the, projects that we are currently working on. I have a list here
Yeah.
for the maintenance.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And then, so currently we're working on 20 projects.
Oh,
What
8 more.
number is lighting?
So,
21st.
yeah, 21st. So, we want to bring up the airport lighting, but most of these, and the airport lighting isn't going to overtake any of these, and these aren't going to overtake the airport lighting. We want to update the airport lighting as quickly as possible, but currently we are focusing on the, bird control, of the hangars.
So more like in the fall?
I would say it'd probably be an indoor project. Hopefully, we should be able to get it done. I don't wanna promise that we will, but hopefully we can get it done by the end of summer.
It's daylight out there till about 9 o'clock, and
Yeah.
open the door.
But see, I got spoiled, I got to put an airplane in D9 at night, and that one was like the sample lighting. See, when you're turning on and it's like daylight,
Right.
I go, this is nice.
Yeah, so you
But
want
it's
the
every
rest.
one.
Well, we'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, well, we're
A9
definitely,
rather, not D9.
yeah, we're definitely gonna try and get that, taken care of. It is on our list.
Okay,
It
thank
has
you.
not been deleted off the list.
Okay, next is Colin has a report for us on the excitement of the Derby weekend. Our first year of advertising for aircraft to come here instead of going to the other airports. So Colin, go ahead with that.
Yeah, so, like Brian stated, we did advertise stating our fuel prices and our availability and our ramp spacing. And so for the 3-day span of the Derby, we conducted 158 total operations, which included 14 helicopters, 12 jets, 42 multi-prop, and 90 single-engine aircraft. And just based off of the fuel truck sales, we sold 3,059 gallons of fuel just off of the fuel truck, which is very beneficial to the airport and, was extremely beneficial to everybody that came in without the landing fees or the ramp fees, and the discounted fuel. So, we did a pretty significant job for our first time advertising for that event. And, 95% actually stated that they would be coming back. And so there was a few pilots that had to leave early, just a drop off, fill up and go back, but,
How many jets were the most you had on the ground at one time?
4.
Like the Friday Eve before or something like that,
Mhm.
was it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, going into this, in my mind, I had a vision of all these jets lined up, but
Mhm.
they didn't do that as much as they brought people in, dropped them off, fueled up, and then went somewhere else to come back later to pick
They
them
did.
up then. and
Some
took them back.
jets actually dropped people off, filled up, took off, and then went and chartered another group and brought them to Seymour as well, and then, departed again.
So, did they have buses come up here to pick those folks up usually, or what, they had all that organized, we didn't have to do any of that?
Yep, so there was Enterprise was utilized, and then a lot of, transportation services, such as buses and, you know, short buses and everything, so.
Did ATP come up?
Yep, AGP was here, throughout the week of Derby, and they had, last year they had 6 aircraft up here, this year they had 10.
And what was the largest, in the passenger number, the largest jet that came in? Do you have any idea what the passenger count would be in?
That would have been the Rolls-Royce Legacy 600.
And how many passengers that?
I think it was, 18 came off that one.
So that's a Legacy series, I've heard of them.
Mhm.
I didn't get out here to see them, I don't think I was here when they came in, but.
I got pictures.
Okay, Shay, Colin's got pictures of some of those, so he can share them with you if you'd like. So, appreciate the opportunity to be here for those folks and hopefully build relationships with some of them and, you know, gonna be fun to watch this grow.
Yeah, it was a really good experience, for the airport to incorporate advertising, cause a lot of groups were actually thankful, that they didn't have a $17,000 landing fee. And since we advertised, we are able to get our name out there, get the airports known, of their surrounding for pilots to come in, and, a lot of them said that they would be coming back,
How far away is it?
all over the country.
What are you advertising on?
So we advertised it on AOPA, we did incorporate it off of AirNav based on our fuel prices. And then, we also, had, Shannon with 10 Piece, they had posted it on an advertisement, in their, kind of their jet corporation.
Unbridled there?
Mhm. Fly Unbridled, so they based their advertisement to all these other jet companies too.
Cool.
Kinda like what we did with Oshkosh a couple of years ago, started that kinda, and now building on that.
Mhm.
That leads right into the next item on our agenda.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so, basically, we are currently in the process of creating the advertisement for Oshkosh. I got in contact with, let's see. I got in contact with a Miss Abigail Sheets with globalair.com, and, so that was basically where we posted our advertisement last year, and she actually contacted us directly again this year to, incorporate another advertisement, because it had a really good impact. And so we were actually being requested for pilots, to come through. So I will be turning in a finalized advertisement, tomorrow morning, and, we should have our FBO and airport listed, based on the fuel discounts, the 24/7 self-serve, 100 low lead Jet A, and then, full service Jet A, We're kinda in the process of thinking, what are we going to do? Are we going to give, a gift or free sack lunch like last year? So that can be decided. We also incorporated our no landing and tie down fees, ample parking, and then we included our runway links.
Did we have anything, can we do anything on AOPA website or EAA website too?
That was, also given for our advertisement last year.
Okay, so
So
through Global or we do that?
we did, global and then AOPA,
Okay, so we're doing each one of those individual,
right,
okay.
and so we did global and then AOPA. We did not submit one to EAA last year,
Okay,
so
could we,
that could be a good idea, yes.
because they're actually the folks in charge up there,
Perfect.
so let them know. I think, Larry, did you have anything on the Oshkosh, or did you have this jet report? Did you guys get anything done on the,
Where did we jump to here? The ME 262?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I was waiting to get a response here to see what we can do. Cause I have to get back to the director of the, Military Aviation Museum in Virginia Beach.
I know last year, so we had talked about, potentially, the jet coming through here
Mhm.
on its way to Oshkosh, that replica of the 262, ME 262. And, you know,
Warbird discount.
yeah, we already have a Warbird discount in place.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the fuel truck fee, I mean, we could talk about something if we wanna waive that, or this aircraft usually gets paid a fee to be displayed. If it comes through, you know, maybe if we gave discounts instead of having to pay a fee, then we could kind of both win-win on that.
Mhm.
I told Larry, I said that, you know, he talked about advertising it for the folks in the clubs and things around here. And I said, well, can we do something to advertise the fact that this airport is welcoming to Oshkosh, and here's an example. So if we can figure out how to post that, showing that, you know, the day or two before Oshkosh opens, we've got this jet comes in and here's what we're doing here. And, you know, make an advertisement out of
Yeah,
this.
you
then.
don't see an ME 262 every day.
Yeah, so then potentially that would help us be able to justify a discounted price, say a waiver of the fuel truck price to be an advertisement.
Mhm.
As an ad fee, so. So you're waiting for us to determine what we will offer.
Yes, cause that's what the director down there asked me, he said, what can you do? Tell us.
How about we have direct contact with him and Colin? Would that work, just instead of working through all of us and doing these?
I'd be happy to get out of the middle.
What do you think, Colin, is that okay if you take a call
Yeah,
from that?
I'll take that on.
You have direction for Colin to give him a call, or come in and call together?
He asked me to email him a response,
Okay,
and I have his
Okay.
name and email and his phone number,
okay,
and I'll bring it over to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's completely
yeah,
fine,
let's
and then
kinda
we can brainstorm what we can contact back with.
let's shorten this up, communication.
Suits me, I wasn't gonna ask you guys to do the dirty work for an idea that I had, but if you wanna do it directly, that's fine.
It's a fun thing to get something like that unique in our airport, so I think we play it out.
That's why I'm not in a suit and tie, because sometimes we do get that
I
right.
mean, they only built 5 of these things, right?
Yeah,
And they have one that flies here, some of them don't fly anymore.
so, opportunity for us, guys, you supporting all that? 100%. Perfect. Okay, anything else on Oshkosh?
Let me ask, same subject, if they need to stay overnight, could we put the airplane in front of the blue hangar? One night, in,
The airport has jurisdiction,
Mhm.
so it's just depending if it's a necessity, we could easily do that.
Okay,
That sounds like a yes.
okay,
Yeah, the airport has jurisdiction over, planes here, so, in the sense, the board can decide to move in a plane if need be, or move out a plane.
I mean, a couple of years ago, you let me put a 182 in the front of the hangar,
Mhm.
the day after airplane ride day, and then the next morning, we took it out right away.
Right.
Because you can't be inhibiting the people that pay good money to rent space there, I get
Correct.
that. But this would just be a one-night thing.
Correct.
So kind of a three-pronged offer that you probably can offer to them would be the Warburg discount, which we've already got set.
Mhm.
The hangar space overnight, which is available, more than likely available, it should be available. And then potentially, if you would choose the waiver of the, truck fee.
Mhm.
Consider that.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, start it up.
I'll bring information.
Perfect, I'll expect that.
Okay, next item, somebody's gonna have to step up. You
Yeah.
do the signing of the claims and receipts.
Motion that, or I approve the signing of claims and receipts.
Thank you.
Something like that.
I know it's tough when you never get to do it, isn't it?
Nah.
Is there a second?
Well, I'm interested in being like a paragraph.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd
right.
still be listening.
All those in favor of signing of claims and receipts signify by aye.
Aye.
Most opposed? Motion carried. Miscellaneous from the board. Collins report. This is long.
Maybe a little. So our, up to date, so the fuel farm and jet truck, so we are still, increasing in sales. All inspections on the fuel farm and jet truck are looking good. We have, based on airport operations, we have increased, operations compared to every single month last year to every single month this year. And so, I think we totaled out with 1,683 operations last month.
For 1 month?
Mhm. And so, military, the Kentucky 123rd completed operations, they went well and are buying fuel. 4 operations conducted this past month, they have 2 operations scheduled for this coming month, both for parachute operations. US Army, the C-130 operations and Black Hawk operations are scheduled for this coming month. The Indiana and Ohio National Guards completed operations, so they conducted 2 operations this past month and 3 operations are scheduled for next month.
Have we pumped any fuel into a C-130 yet?
Not yet, not yet.
That's our goal.
I wanted them to come,
You what?
I wanted those to come.
Yes, C-130s and Blackhawks should be, scheduled for this coming month. The aviation update, so our AWAS for the airport, the inspection was completed and passed. The legislative sheet was handed out, and we are currently looking into more fly-in opportunities. It's kind of a little, option, I don't know if you guys have received that email.
Saw that.
It was just a side note that I had seen, and, you know, there's always possibilities and potential for airport growth and influence into the aviation industry, so we want to key on that.
A couple 3 years ago at Oshkosh, I talked to the folks with the B-25. I noticed in your flyer, you had a picture of the B-25 bomber. And I talked to those folks about coming, and that's a huge possibility, great opportunity for them, so if, we just need somebody to coordinate all that, so it's potential. It's an affordable, the B-17s and of course the B-29 are really expensive for flights on them.
Mhm.
And maybe not where a lot of people would want to be able to afford that, but the B-25 Mitchell is a little bit easier for people in the community to afford.
Mhm.
So that's a possibility I think we should consider.
Yeah, because, if we start incorporating fly-ins, then we would be on track to creating a separate fund possibly for an air show. And air shows are extremely, they're not really cost friendly nowadays.
Now, the income generation,
Correct, So, you know, it can start out with one idea. If you guys have ideas, please push them my way. But, the influence that we push ourselves into the aviation industry, is vitally important. So we maintain that influence, create funding for more opportunities. And then airport projects, so the based aircraft inventory was turned in and finalized. The Fuel Master system, we did have a programming update, and that was completed. It was a little bit of a nightmare for us, for a couple hours, but that was taken care
Plus, it was on my computer.
of, right?
That was awful. Forgot about that.
Oops,
Yeah.
Forgot
that was
about that.
awful.
don't stir stuff up, Colin.
Right.
That was fun.
The airport gating, so still waiting to hear back from the TSA on grant opportunities. The inspection did occur, it went well for many opportunities. They did state that it's easier to operate with a clean slate rather than update a current security fence or plan, which I completely agreed with. With us having a clean slate, then all opportunities are possible instead of something that's already been enforced. The maintenance, I have a list of current projects that we are working on. They range from little projects to very big projects, including the airport lighting. So, we are currently trying to get the fuel farm set up for the concrete pad and the fencing, transporting that fuel farm here, and then plumbing. Bird control, and blue hanger and other hangars are being incorporated now. Crack sealing is to begin within the next, week or two at least. New reflectors for the grass strip. The fuel farm was completely renovated, not completely renovated, but, updated in signs and painting, looks a lot more welcoming, and, we've gotten many compliments on how it looks. So, props to the maintenance crew for that. So we are currently looking at getting rock for our AWAS road because it is slowly but surely sinking away. Airport markings, we're going to be cleaning those and then looking at, updating some of the signage for the airport, on certain taxiways and stuff for those signs that are quite old. And then, we are trying to limit our spending, but with the current project list that we can, we are coming in over a little bit. Currently for the year to date, we are over by 11,000, which isn't too bad. We are currently on track by spending less than our budget. So we're happy about that, but there, you know, out here, we complete one obligation, we add 5 to our list. So there's always something to improve, there's always, ways to grow and, to finalize certain projects to make the airport better and, financially stable. So, is there any current questions?
Colin, did you have issues with the, bush hog tractor, and are you getting that worked through, or?
So currently we found more issues with our, Kubota tractor. It hasn't been running all, grass mowing season so far. So everything that we've been doing on the airport has been very time consuming, and so with all the projects that we're doing, we are finished mowing the entirety of the airport. So our bush hog is not currently working. There was, problems with the actual mower itself, and now there's problems with the clutch and the, system of the Kubota tractor itself. So we're getting those looked into and seeing what we can do about that.
Will you need to, would it be helpful to rent something for a couple rounds of mowing with, you know, grass will quit growing here in about another month and a half, when it's hot and dry.
Right.
But up until then, and if we can have trouble getting that tractor going, would it help the guys to go hourly rent on a tractor, a used tractor at one of these dealerships You could just go in there, one of them that's sitting on a lot that's 10 years old or something like that, that nobody's bought yet,
Mhm.
that could be used for a minimal fee per hour,
Mhm.
and get things caught up. Would that be helpful to you?
We could look into that aspect.
Once you-
Currently, we're trying to work on the tractor in-house on the things we can to save money, and then, you know,
If you're tying up all your
sourcing out
labor,
that work.
if you're tying up all your labor on the finish mowers, that you need to just get a bush hog tractor and rent it for a day or 2 days and get everything cut down.
Mhm.
And then give a little breathing room for the guys on the mowers, and keep working on trying to get the boat fixed, you know what I mean, take the pressure off.
Okay.
Consider that.
Okay.
Make some calls, find out what it would cost, and it may be more reasonable than you think, cause I'm not talking about renting a new tractor or anything like that. I'm talking about something that's on a lot that's used, that they haven't got sold, and a lot of times they just wanna get some revenue out of them. So
Mhm.
they'll charge you a minimum amount per hour, it's just sitting there anyway.
Right.
Use it.
Yep.
If you got your mower fixed, use your mower, get them caught out. The guys, I don't wanna see the guys in maintenance feel like they're behind,
Mhm.
so give that a shot.
We have been on go mode, as soon as the grass turned green, so.
I know, but I'm sure they're feeling like they're getting behind.
Mhm.
It's gonna be hard to keep up with those, doing all that.
Mhm.
So consider that and let me know how.
I think that'd be a really good idea, because that hasn't been brought up to us before, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Good.
And that should be everything.
Okay, Morgan. Mr. Matt, have we done everything right tonight, or have we misstepped and
I think you're good so far.
good so far?
Not
Okay.
good.
We're getting close to the end, so we're okay. Anyone have anything?
Might, take a minute and tell you some things that's going on at the museum.
Sure.
Department of Public Works has finally ordered the material to make the directional signs that will go at the 3 traffic circles and out on Route 50, and they hope to have the signs completed and installed by the end of July. So I thought so that's those signs. We're putting the brown and white cultural signs out at Airport Road and Route 50. The museum paid the $1,800 to the state to get that created,
Whoa.
and they're supposed to be installed anytime now.
Okay.
So that takes care of signs. Then the other thing is Airport Ride Day is coming up. I have contacted police and fire to make sure we'll get some extra police patrols the night before, cause we'll have stuff sitting outside. And, the fire folks will send us a fire truck and paramedics to be on duty while we're flying. And otherwise, if you go in town, I've spent the last 3 days plastering Route 50 with flyers. You can hardly go in a place of business without seeing one of these things.
Very good, well, and
So
thanks for your
we're
time.
hoping for good weather.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't
What
wanna
day
drag
is
it out.
that again, Larry?
June 21st,
And the tent is ordered,
about a month away.
tents to go.
Okay.
Would you like to create a flyer and me advise that, sending it to other airports in our committees
A flyer,
for the airport ride day?
no, I don't want transients.
Okay.
At least he's clear about that, Tom. Okay, perfect. Again, thanks for the museum contribution toward the sign.
Yeah, well, we wanted signs, we gotta get some skin in the game here, so we said, we'll do the cultural ones if we can talk the city into doing the directional green and white ones out by the
Yeah.
circles.
Teamwork.
Yeah, but we did pay $1,800 for them, so.
Thank you. Anything else? And the last item,
Move we adjourn.
is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, meeting adjourned.